This week we are painting lights, these old street lights, and the materials are these colors, and you can swap them for any yellow, dark blue, red and dark gray that you like, and I'm using 100% cotton paper. Some of you have asked me to show my palette while I'm painting, so I'm doing that in this tutorial. Starting by mixing the yellow color. Then I'm mixing up some blue apatite genuine. And after that, I'm gonna mix up some Paynes gray. And I'm doing a couple of puddles on the palette with each color. And I'm also adding the Lunar Earth later on. Now I'm wetting the surface, and I'm not wetting in the middle of the lantern for that to be the lightest part of the painting. And I'm using a flat brush for this. And you want a moist surface but not puddly. And this is 100% cotton paper. I like cotton the best, and it's a little bit thicker than normal. I'm using a 425 gram paper, and my paper is from St. Cuthbert's Mill. It's their Saunders Waterford. And I'm just starting by wetting the part where the light is gonna be, but you could wet the whole area if you are certain that you won't go past a certain point with the yellow. So that's why I'm starting by wetting only a part of it, but either way is fine. And here I add the Lunar Earth, a little bit of it. And why I'm adding that color is because I want a warmer, a little bit deeper tone further out from the lantern. You could go in with some yellow that you mix and you get a more orangey tone. You can try whatever suits you. Do a couple of paintings to see what you like the best. And I'm going a little bit in this circle motion because I'm thinking the street light exuberates the shine that way. And I'm going in with a touch of the blue and a touch of the Paynes blue-gray, mostly blue. And if you're not careful now, you're gonna get a edge around the blue where we did not pre-wet the paper. So you need to move quite fast if you don't want to get that hard edge. And we don't. That wouldn't be nice. Now you see me wetting that, and I'm almost had a hard edge that I could not remove. I was just in the nick of time. And we don't want any hard edges in the sky. Adding water to get rid of that edge there. And some of these paints I'm using are granulating because I like that for the sky part. and it's gonna be a little bit of a wintry scene. So we are going to splash some water in it later for some snow effect. And here I'm going up until the edge of where the lights hit the ground, so to speak, where we have some, well, snowy parts, but they are mostly in some kind of shadow, so they are not quite as white. And adding more, and this is way too light, so you will see me going over it again later on with more color. I'm doing this now, and when it dried I'm going to go over it again. So you could skip that part and just add more color now in the sky. Because watercolor always dry about 25% lighter, roughly. And here I'm adding in a little bit of the texture and shadows on the ground, and still using that flat brush. And the colors are the same all the way through this painting. It's just a little bit different how much you take of each one, and how much water and so on. Adding a little bit of the shine to the ground. And if you're with me and painting, I hope you're having fun. And if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel and let me know in the comments if there is anything special you want me to film next to do a tutorial on. There you see me spraying some water from my bottle to get those snowy effects. In this video you actually see me do everything. I haven't cut anything out, not even a little bit. I just wanted this to be very real-time and natural, and this is the pace I'm working in. And you see me taking a rigger brush here. I'm starting by using that, but I will change it to a small round brush instead. For these short, small parts, I did not feel the rigger brush, so I'm gonna change it to a small round one. But you can use whatever brush you are comfortable with that is a really thin size for the lanterns. And it's always good to have some paper in hand to dab off the excess water and excess paint. And for those of you who think this is too slow of a video and want sped up versions of things, please let me know. I'm trying to be well, not for everyone, because not everyone will like my videos and the way I do them and the way I speak or anything, but now I'm rambling. I always want to know what you think. It helps me do the best I can, and well, I want to do the best I can for you so that you enjoy painting with me. Here you saw that I'm changed to that small round brush instead. And this is mostly Paynes gray I'm working with. But as I'm always starting off light and going a bit darker where I see fit. And the poles on the lanterns does not need to be perfect. And I'm not filling in the whole part of all the lanterns either, because I thought it would be a nice effect if they seem to disappear a bit in the snowy weather. And in my Facebook group, you will have the sketch for this painting if you want to use my sketch instead of doing your own lanterns. That's okay. And if you join, you will have to answer some questions, so I know that you're a person, not a robot. And I'm going in with a darker color more on the left side of this, since in this painting at least there are no lanterns on the left side or street lights. And I'm not trying to do everything 100% accurate like it is in real life. This is a painting and I'm going for the mood instead. I want you to see what it is, but the mood is the most important part for me in this painting at least. And here I'm adding small details on the lower side. You can zoom in if you want to make your screen bigger. This is the hard part when I'm gonna show you my palette at the same time as the painting. I find it hard to zoom in on the painting. So, but let me know what you think about that. So I'm doing the next lantern, and the further away I go, the less detail I'm putting in, because they are further away from the viewer and getting smaller and smaller. I did only 3, and that was mainly to save some time, because it took me about 35 minutes to do this. 35. So I hope you find it a fun and quite easy tutorial that did not take too long, so you can paint it when you don't have much time. And these small lanterns get a little bit fiddly, so if you would want to, you can make this painting bigger. Here I'm adding details on the bottom part of the second lantern street light. And it's more or less the same as the first, just less details. I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background. He's scratching and licking. And now I'm going in doing the third. And it was too big of a blob, so I'm taking it away with clean water and a tissue, paper towel. And the third one is really small, really tiny. And even less details on that one. And sometimes you see me go in with clean water and dabbing off. Sorry. And on this third street light, I'm doing mostly dark on the right part. And on the middle lamp, I did it in the middle. Just because of the lights that are on opposite side do leave a sheen to the middle light. if you can understand what I mean. So the furthest away from us is also the lightest in value because it's receding back. And I'm adding some small details on the, what do you call, the bottom part of the lamp. And you can go in as much as you feel in the value, but we need some contrast in the painting. And my finished result could use with a little bit more contrast also. So don't be afraid to try to do a really high contrast painting. That's a part of the reason why I do go in and darken up the sky later on. And when you see me pause and just mix and stuff, I'm thinking about where to put the shadows and how much. And here I'm using a ruler to get the angle of the shadow. But I did miss it a bit. It's not quite accurate. So, but it's good enough. This is just a small exercise if you want it to be. And I think when you are satisfied with your result, frame it. It's nice to see your pictures framed and hanging on the wall. Especially if you like them. And I'm sorry for the wiggling of the recording. I'm adding and taking away and adding until I'm satisfied. And later on I'm going in with more also to darken up some of the shadows. And here I'm adding some darker strokes on the ground to explain that it is some kind of pathway or a street or something. And I don't have a reference photo for this painting. It's done with my imagination. So if you can find a reference photo that you like and that shows you all of the shadows and dark and light and such, you can use that instead of this. I'm wetting. I started with a little bit of paint on my brush. Now I'm wetting with water to then add some paint. And it's both the blue and Paynes gray. And I'm using a Paynes gray that has blue in it already. And as I showed you in the start of the video, you can replace the colors to other colors that you like. There's no need to use the same brand as me or even the same colors. Just feel your way and try on a separate piece of paper the combinations that you like. And I'm starting off quite soft to then build up some more darker color to get variation. And to get hard edges and soft edges. That's why I wetted the paper also, because there you will have the softness. And here you can see it's a little bit more color. And here I'm thinking about where to go next. So here I'm painting some branches sticking out from the side. And as you can see, I'm using my small rigger. It's a size 0 from, I think it's a Winsor Newton Cotman brush. Now I'm going to go in with some of the Lunar Earth and yellow, just to get some kind of different sheen in those bushes from the street light. And also on the ground. And when I want a soft edge, I go in with water to soften the stroke. And here I adding some kind of reflection from the bushes. And dabbing off if I think they are too strong. And most of the time I go from the light to darker and darker to see if I got it dark enough. So here I'm adding again some dark to the light, to the lamp, not the light, to the lamp. And this is my process most of the time, where I start off light and building up with layers. And again, going in with some darker, both on top and behind what I've already painted. And here you can see I'm going in and wetting the top part of the sky. And if you do this, please be careful not to rub too much, because the paint is gonna lift off the paper. So soft strokes. And here I'm going in with a lot darker paint. That means more paint, less water. And I'm trying not to get hard edges in the sky. I want it to be soft, so I'm adding water. And this is to add more contrast to the painting. And as I said in the beginning, you could do a darker sky right away than I did. So you don't have to do this second step. It saves you a little bit of time. And sorry for the arm in the way of the camera. I'm rinsing my brush in between, and I have my water above my painting. And going in with more paint again to get it even darker. And dabbing off where I see I need to. And spraying a little bit to get that snowy texture again. And on this painting I don't add any white gouache or acrylic ink or anything. You could if you want to make more snowflakes. I just wanted to get the feel of it, not actually show it. And tilting my board because it started to run in the wrong direction. You can see a lighter spot on the top. And I'm spritzing a little bit of water again to get the paint to run upwards. And on the side. That was the light spot. I didn't want to have it, so I'm adding more paint. And on the camera here, it seems actually lighter than the painting actually is in real life. It's a little bit darker, but that comes to the filming and again going in with a little bit. And this is just for my painting. Maybe you don't need to do it. It depends on if you did it the first time as dark as you wanted it to be. So I'm fiddling a little bit. Adding a little bit of water to get it to move a little bit. But being careful not to go too low with the dark, because I want to leave the light from the lamps. And dabbing off some excess paint and water. I don't want the background under the tape. And I wanted some softness in that part of the sky also, so I went in and dabbed with a paper tissue. And leaving it for a little bit and then going in and drying it off and spraying and drying. And by doing this spraying and drying, you get a little bit more snowy effect. And now I'm drying it off so it's totally dry. And going in, and I started with too much paint on my brush, so I'm dabbing it off and doing a stroke, so I get a broken line. It's darker but broken, so it's a kind of dry brush effect. And on the snow also, or ground. And adding a little bit of water to soften some of it. And here I'm pushing away some paint to get a feel that it's moving upwards. So I'm doing a stroke upwards. And it creates texture. And here I'm lifting off some paint with a damp brush and the paper towel. And done. And thank you for watching.